Hello, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Sekia. So happy to have you. In today's video, we will be going over my entire workout split, my weekly workout routine. If you are new here, I talk about my fitness and nutrition journey. I share workouts, recipes, and just overall want people, especially women, to just embrace the body they are given. Of course, if you got money for a BBL, girl, ain't no shame. Not me contradicting myself. I typically change my split about 3 to 4 times a year, and since we are nearing the end of September, I'll probably be doing this current split that I'm going over with you today for the rest of the year. I work out on average about 5 times a week. Rest days are super important. My rest days are on Monday and Thursdays because those are my busiest days of the week. In today's layout, you're gonna see 4 days of me strength training, and then I'm gonna explain my cardio and ab portion towards the end of the video. Also in today's video, you can expect to see a lot of hypertrophy training. So I train to increase muscle mass and strength. So what that looks like is kind of training at about 75% of my maximum. I don't go to the gym and just lift the heaviest weight that I can for 1 rep. I kind of start off small and I pick up the weights as the workout goes on. I am working out with the intention to gain muscle mass and lose fat without losing any weight. I'm currently 120 pounds, anywhere between 120 and 125 pounds is where I sit, depending on the time of the month. But I did want to set the expectation that this will be primarily a weightlifting video. So without further ado, let's kick off Sunday. All right, guys, kicking off the top of the week with dumbbell chest press. I love this variation of chest press. I feel like I have a little bit more control over the weight. It's more comfortable on my wrist versus using a barbell. But of course, if you prefer barbells, that's totally acceptable. As women, we definitely do not want to shy away from training chest. Of course, it doesn't necessarily make your boobs bigger, and it definitely isn't going to prevent sagging as you age, like gravity. You just don't have any control over those things. But it is a major muscle group, and it definitely affects how you perform the rest of your upper body movements. So you definitely want to incorporate at least 1 day with several chest movements. And we're moving on to some rear delt flies. This is a little bit more of a back movement, but the way I kind of position the weights, I do feel it in my shoulders and my traps. I keep everything in line from my head to my glute and really thinking about squeezing my rear delts at the top of the movement. And I do these 2 exercises back to back with about a minute rest in between. Moving on to lat pull downs. This is also primarily a back exercise. I know I said I did chest, shoulders, and triceps on this day, but I like to do lats twice a week, and I try to incorporate it in both my upper body days. This is one of my favorite exercises. I really think it insinuates a nice back for a woman, and it also gives you the illusion of a smaller waist. And I superset my lat pull downs with single arm lateral raises. Sometimes I do them together, sometimes I do single arm. I think for this workout, I just wanted to do a unilateral movement, and I do 6 to 8 on the right and 6 to 8 on the left. All right, so now we're hitting the triceps. Triceps are an accessory muscle, and they are a very small muscle. So I like to remind people, especially women, you don't have to go too heavy on triceps. As you can see here on the cable machine, the weight that I have here is much less than I was doing on the lat pull downs. And you can see that my tricep muscles are very much engaged in getting the full benefit of the workout. All right, hitting the overhead shoulder press here. I'm using 20 pounds. I did 3 sets. I started with 12 reps. And then after each tricep extension workout, I came back and dropped the rep count by 1. A little bit more triceps to close out this workout. I did 3 sets of 15 on this machine. This was actually my first time using this machine, and so I had to go pretty light here. You can use a dumbbell if you don't have this machine accessible in your gym, but triceps are something that I am trying to prioritize in my workout routine because they be jiggling. All right, leg day. So I did want to incorporate my dynamic warm-up with leg day just because I have very, very tight hips and sensitive knees. So I really just wanted to emphasize it's important that you warm up the body before you get into heavy lifting. I just do about 3 to 5 minutes of whatever I feel like doing. I don't really have this set in stone. Here I'm doing some just regular body weight squats, doing some leg lifts, and then I'm doing this squat variation. I don't really know what it's called, but it really opens up my hips, my lower back, and get my knees nice and warmed up for the leg day. And then I close out my warm up with some lateral lunges, just shifting from side to side, really open up my hips some more. All right, so then it's time to get into the workout. So I start with barbell deadlifts. Before I even added these 25s on each side, I did use just the barbell just to get my body accustomed to the move before I started adding some weight. So I started with 25s on each side, and then I added 10 pounds for my second set, and then I finished out with 45s on each side. I don't always superset my deadlifts because I need the full recovery, but today I kind of just wanted to push myself, and so I'm doing goblet squats, which are my favorite variation of squats. Basically have your feet about shoulder width apart, maybe a little outside of the hips. Dumbbell is in front of your chest, and you just squat down, keeping your chest nice and lifted. We're moving on to hip thrusts. So some people like to do hip thrusts with the barbell. I kind of like this machine because it's just quicker to load the weight on and off. I supersetted these with just some lighter hip thrusts. Took a 45-pound dumbbell and did a burnout, and I did about 10 nonstop. Hamstrings are so important to work because, a lot of people want to grow their glutes and stuff, but you have to work the muscles that are connected to your glutes. So if you're not working your hamstrings and you're just doing a bunch of glute exercises, you're not going to get the full benefit of your lower body strength training. Also, I want to emphasize that hamstring curls are a hamstring exercise. I don't know why people think that it's working your glutes. I guess just because your butt is up in the air with this exercise. And I do superset my hamstring curls with Bulgarian split squats. Bulgarians are really effective on your quads and your glutes. The further your foot is out, the more of your glute is being worked. If your foot is closer to you and you have more of a straight up stance, you are working your quad. So I kind of just try to do a good combination of both. My foot is slightly out and I'm slightly leaned forward. Now we're hitting sumo squats. I really like sumo squats because those target your glutes a little bit better than traditional squats. I typically use anywhere between a 50 to 70 pound dumbbell. Then I superset my sumo squats with calf raises. I'm not even gonna lie, I do not train my calf muscles enough. This is pretty much it. Then I'm closing out this lower body day with seated abductions, just hitting those glutes a little bit more, firing them up before I complete this workout. I hit 2 sets of 20, and sometimes throughout the reps I have to adjust the weight, and that's okay. Sometimes you're not able to go as heavy. You definitely just have to listen to your body, and as long as you feel like you got a good workout, that's all that matters. All right, we are rounding out the rest of our upper body muscles with back and biceps day. I do like to start my back days with deadlifts. I'm not going as heavy as I did during my leg day, but I just feel like deadlifts really open up the posterior part of your body. After I do a couple of sets of the deadlifts, I'm moving on to more lat pulls. This time my hands are a little bit closer together on the bar. They're not as wide. I'm doing about 4 sets, anywhere between 8 to 10 reps, and this is not supersetted with anything, so I'm going as heavy as I can and taking that recovery as needed. Hitting the seated wide grip row. For this one, I definitely try to focus on having that tempo of 1 count back and on the negative return. Time under tension is where you really get the benefit of the workout. And I do not superset this exercise either. I do about 4 sets, and I did anywhere between 8 to 10 reps. All right, everybody recording in the gym today. Up next, we have face pulls. I'm supposed to be pulling it towards my face, not really my chest, as you see here. But this gym, I wasn't able to adjust the starting position of the bar, so kind of just did what I could. Superset the face pulls with a hammer to wide bicep curl, my favorite variation of bicep curls. On the way up, I have a hammered position, and then on the way down, I rotate the palms out and come down nice and wide. Bent over rows, I'm sure everybody is familiar with these. I remember when I was only able to use 20 pounds, and now I'm using anywhere between 35 to 40 pounds. So definitely try to celebrate those wins. It's not always about physique or how you look. Sometimes it's just about like recognizing over the years you've gotten stronger and you're able to lift more weight. This is another superset. So after the rows, I immediately go into incline curls. I love doing this variation of bicep curls because I get the full range of motion, and it really challenges you to only use your biceps to bring the weights up. Sometimes when we're standing and doing a traditional bicep curls, other muscles are activated. This one, I definitely was feeling my biceps burning for the next couple of days. All right, closing out this back and biceps today with chest supported rows. I haven't used this machine in a long time, and mainly because the gyms I've been going to didn't have it. So I was very excited that this gym had this on tap. Put a 25-pound plate on there, and I busted out as many reps as I can. And I believe I did about anywhere between 15 to 20, and I did 2 rounds, and I went home. Yes, cooking some more lower body. So now you can probably see there's a change of scenery. I am in my home gym, so I just come downstairs really quickly and I knock out about a 30 to 40 minute lower body exercise. I am not lifting my heaviest at all. I really focus on moving slow and controlled and just focusing on form, functionality, mobility, and stability. I supersetted my squats with kettlebell goblet squats. As you can see, the weight is significantly lighter than what I used earlier in the week. I'm going much slower on the way down, and since the weight is lighter, I just stuck with a rep count of 10. All right, all of these were supersetted, so we're moving on to superset number 2. I did single leg deadlifts. Basically, you put your feet in a staggered stance, and the foot that is in the front is the one that's doing the most work. You can really feel that stretch in the back of your leg and your glutes. I probably could have had my feet spread a little wider, but I don't know. Sometimes it's just more comfortable on my back to do it this way. Supersetted those deadlifts with good mornings. Perfect superset, honestly, in my opinion, because it's working the same muscles. Those hamstrings are activated and I'm getting a good stretch on my glutes. You can really do this with body weight too. I'm only using like 10 pounds. All right, moving on to superset number 3, deficit split squats. I love deficit training because when you're doing lunges and you're on a deficit, whether you're on a book or weights or a bench, when you're able to go deeper down in the stretch and you're pressing up through that front heel, the work comes from the bottom. So as I'm at the bottom of the lunge, when I'm pressing up through my front foot, that's where the glute is really getting the most work. Had to throw some lateral lunges in there, really to target those inner thighs. I don't train inner thighs that much, but that's another opportunity for me. And I close out this leg day with a little burnout. You can easily use dumbbells if you don't have many bands, but I basically do frog pumps. I pair that with some clam shells. And these do have my glutes roasty toasty. I kind of just go back and forth between the two. I'll do like 20 reps for the frog pumps, and then I'll do 10 reps for the clam shells on each side, probably for about 3 minutes, just until I feel like I can't really go anymore and my form is being compromised. Had to stretch it out. My glutes were on fire. All right, so many of you know that I am an Orange Theory coach, and so I definitely try to take class about 2 to 3 times a week, and I kind of just throw that in there whenever I have time. So for example, Tuesdays, I don't really have a lot to do in the evening, so after I finish the legs on Tuesday, I'll head to the studio and do an hour of cardio. Orange Theory isn't just cardio, and I don't want to give off that impression. In my opinion, it is a one-stop shop for fitness. There's flexibility, there's stability, mobility, functional training, rowing, treadmill work, of course, obviously is the nitty-gritty of the workouts. And of course, there is a weight floor station. So you spend about half the class doing cardio, you spend about half the class weight training. For my goals, I definitely want to add a little bit more strength training, which is why I have these extra 4 days in my workout routine. The workouts that I do at Orange Theory definitely suffice for my cardiovascular training, but it's not limited to that. Sometimes before leg day or after leg day, I'll get on the Stairmaster for 15 to 20 minutes at a moderate pace. Sometimes during my lunch break on my full-time job, I'll run around my neighborhood for 20 to 30 minutes. In addition to cardio, ab training, I definitely have an opportunity to increase my intensity when it comes to training abs. abs. During the week when I'm doing those compound movements such as lat pull downs, deadlifts, even squats, you are engaging your core. So with all that weight on your body or in your hands, you are engaging your core, thus you are training your abs. But I do not train my abs in isolation, so to speak, and that's something that I kind of want to incorporate throughout the rest of the year. Just about 2 to 3 days a week at the end of each workout, for about 5 to 10 minutes, I'll just take a weighted plate, like maybe like 15 to 20 pounds, or even a kettlebell, and just knock out some of my favorite ab workouts such as Russian twists. I like in and outs, leg raises, mountain climbers, things like that. There's a lot of things that I want to say about abs, but this video is about my workout routine, so I don't want to get off track. But let me know if you guys want a video about abs and abs training, because I feel like people have misconceptions of how you get abs. A lot of it has to do with genetics. Of course, like, are you training abs? Are you eating right? What's your body fat percentage? All that has a direct reflection of what your abs look like. And last but not least, I'm gonna stick this in there as an honorable mention. Stretching. Flexibility is so important for recovery and muscle repair. So I do stretch about 20 to 30 minutes 3 times a week. I just come downstairs, I type in YouTube 30-minute lower body stretch, and I stretch out my body. So don't forget to stretch. But all right, guys, that is going to wrap up today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed what you see. Don't forget to subscribe, like this video, and until next time, I'll see you later.